Hello friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back. Today we have another high-level PvT game. So we have our good friend Byun here in the bottom right, and he's going to get... well, he's gonna get something. I'm not quite sure what yet, though. It looks like it's going to be a proxy gateway, and it could be positioned over here. Ooh. This scout is insanely fast, if it's just a scout. What? It's actually just a scout. Look, he's blocking the barracks. What is this? Okay, this was the first worker, I think, just in general. This is one of the quickest scouts I've ever seen in my life. He's just harassing with it. I don't think this is worth it. So generally, like, the way that StarCraft works is that things snowball very quickly. So the faster you send your scout, the less money you have. And that's quite a big deal. So we can take a look at some of the timings to see how much this cost the Pearls player compared to how much this cost the Terran player. And the first timing, obviously, we want to be looking at is the gateway finishing. That's a simple one, but it could already be indicative of something else. And it's going to be finishing actually 3 seconds later than usual with a core first. A 124 gateway finish or a 124 core start is already a... well, it's not late, it's just a normal timing. You can get it down at 123 if you micro your probes well. But 127? That is legit 3 seconds late. That is not fast. Also forgetting his pylon for a little bit. Wait, what is he doing? What? Okay, so the reason why I'm confused here, and why I just said what 3 times in a row, is quite simple. Well, he's gonna get supply blocked because of the tricks he just pulled. And because of that, his first unit starts at 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the game. Now, to most of you, this sounds pretty uninteresting, but to me, this is quite odd. So there's 2 main build orders in PvT. The first build order is core before Nexus, which is what we saw here. This delays your second gas because you need to get your second pylon before the gas, and it cuts out about a probe and a half because your Nexus is delayed. The other build order is Nexus before core. It has more gas, but it usually has... oh my god, this is so bad for Zoun. This is really not good. Accidentally finished the shade as the Reaper came in. Let me finish my story though. Second build is a Nexus before core, and that delays your... it has all the economical advantages. So it has more gas, it has more probes, it has faster mining from the natural. It really is a significant amount of money. Ooh, nice little move there out of Byun. Realizing he would survive with 2 HP. What Zoun did here is that he went for a core before Nexus, so getting the delayed second gas, getting the delayed Nexus, but then he went up to 22 supply before he built his pylon, which got him the supply block that he couldn't start a unit before 210, which usually is the timing a core would finish with a Nexus before core. So he got all of the disadvantages and none of the advantages here in the early game. So I just don't understand why you would do that. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I'm thinking of reasons why he would do that, but I genuinely just think it was a mistake. I don't think there's any reason here. Like it just... maybe he was not very focused during the start of this game and he kind of autopiloted on a 22 pylon, which is what you do if you play Nexus before core. Maybe he forgot he went core first. Sometimes I do this as well, where I forget what I did and then I accidentally start an assimilator. Like if you're not focused, that is a possibility. But that is... it is a significant error in the early game. That's for sure. I mean, this is the part that should be down at this point. If you've been playing this game for what... 8,000-9,000 hours, or maybe in Zoun's case a little bit more. There's a couple of blink stalkers, or well, at this point still stalkers. Good movement though, out of the toss. Look at that. This is very good movement. The way that he sends his units around, I don't think Byun's going to be capable of doing anything with this drop. I don't even think he should try, honestly. Does Byun see this? This is really close. They don't see each other here. Follow-up is going to be just a single Raven, single tank into maybe double tank this is actually. Could be double tank, yeah. He could go for a push with this. He's been doing this a fair amount, where there's like a 2 tank push, with a bunch of Marines, and it hits quite early. It hits a little bit earlier than you'd usually see. At other times, though, Byun just waits for the stim and the combat to finish. What does he do with this starport? I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. +1 starts here on this eBay. I mean, Byun does have a good eco here, and has a nice amount of money, good supply as well. We see a Robo-Bay coming out of the Protoss. Ooh, this observer is gonna die. Yeah, dies. And without the ability to, what's it called, interference matrix a Colossi, if you don't have enough energy for that. Oh, let's go straight for Disruptor. Sees the Raven and decides to switch out of his plan of Colossi. I assume at least that was his plan. We can't look into his brain, but I'd be surprised if someone has a plan to go straight into Disruptor. Good scan out of Byun. Very important.
Add-on complete.
Sees the Robo-Bay. Sees the fact that it's not researching thermal lands. This could give a lot of clues here for Byun, who, without really doing any damage, is in an okay spot. I mean, killed 2 workers and lost a Reaper. But just purely by the early game build orders, I think he's slightly ahead at this point. Because he has a powerful army with a lot of damage output. He has some high value units in here as well, in tanks, which are going to be doing well against disruptors. This disruptor shot needs to hit, and it needs to hit big. Getting 4 Marines isn't going to cut it. We're looking at 8, 9 Marines here, okay? Oh my god. That was 11 Marines. Well, that was a shot that he needed. He didn't just want it, he needed that shot. Without that shot, he dies. Straight up dies here. His build order was not good enough, and he would have just been walked over. Now, however, with 2 disruptors here, hardly any bio remaining. Still some bio remaining. I actually think that Zoun is in a bit of a good spot. In a bit of a good spot. He's in a good spot. Stakes on the high ground could potentially dish out a lot of damage. Oh my god. Take out like 2-3 stalkers immediately. Byun's looking for damage, or maybe just looking to snipe an observer here and there. Losing this many Marines is not good. Double mine drop hits the main base, and the medevac dies. 6 workers go down. I didn't see it. Zoun didn't see it. Byun was aware of it though, because he's the one that initiated that move, obviously. 3 tanks still on the high ground. Need to be careful they don't just get busted. A couple of these buildings gonna fall. Now he's gonna straight up drop into the main base. Cool move here. We don't have Zoun in position. Turret gets dropped as well, and +1 is going to get cancelled. Or well, denied, it's called. These units are gonna trade out, and they're gonna trade out semi-efficiently as well. Oh, good pickup here. Gets out with the medevac with the units. Could take out this pylon as well. A lot of money in the bank for Byun. It's been a little bit sloppy in the macro. You also have a lot of money in the bank for Zoun. Makes a little more sense, as I think he lost 2 gateways, and 1 gateway still empowered. Also lost a forge that was making an upgrade, so you get some money back for that. And he's spending his money a little bit better generally. Well, probably because he's building a lot of buildings. See Ghost Academy, Orbital Command going down here for Byun. And Byun now at 5 tanks. Kept his position the entire time. Still a possibility for him to push. I'm not saying he's gonna win with this push. I'm saying it's possible that he wins with this push. And that is good. That is big. That is huge. Is 1-1 upgrades, I think? No, just +1. 1-1 is about to finish up. The Ghost Academy is here as well, so a couple of ghosts could start producing right now. 6 tanks are out. We have no interference matrix. We don't even have an auto turret at this point. There's a small salad run by coming into the 3rd base. But with the reinforcements there, I don't think Byun's going to be in major trouble. Tanks trying to move forward bit by bit. Scans forward as well, as he's repositioning these tanks onto the low ground. There's potential here for a drop or an elevator into the main base. Could actually be kind of dangerous. This position sucks for Zoun. Loses all of his zealots across the map as well. Turret going up in the 3rd base. And here comes the elevator into the main. Wouldn't mind if these tanks try to move a little bit closer. Maybe even get 1 tank on the high ground. This position or something like that. So this is an improperly synchronized attack out of the Protoss player. There is an interference matrix available, but these disruptor shots are going to hit pretty big on these tanks. 4 tanks are still remaining though, and they're dealing a lot of damage. Colossi all go down. I think Zoun just lost this game. I think he's absolutely dead right here. He's Byun is moving forward. Immortal plus disruptors are going to be capable of staying alive. Look at the resources lost. Super efficient trades here for Byun. Now it's up 50 supply. Hasn't really started a fort base yet. Isn't transitioning into anything else. Oh. Hits absolutely nothing. GG gets called. And Zoun loses game number 1 here. In this best of 5. So Byun up 1-0. Byun with a quick 1-0 in that first game. Showing us some good StarCraft 2. I really like it when Terrans, if they feel like they have... if they feel like they have momentum with tanks, that they just keep their tanks on the map and they hold a position that's difficult to engage into, like Byun did with that high ground. Because the one thing that is difficult, often difficult with tanks, is moving out with them. Like, the walk across the map is the most dangerous thing with the tanks. Once they're in position, they're extremely powerful. He's going for that quick scout again. It's interesting. It's gonna be slightly too late to block the barracks. This is the worst thing I've seen in my life. I know that SOS was doing this for a while, and I remember thinking that is the worst thing I've seen in my life. And now we're seeing it again. I don't quite understand what the point is, because it's genuinely worse, just straight up worse than a later scout. And you can just send an SCV to chase. And that SCV will lose mining time, that's true. But the probe loses mining time earlier. I think the problem is just that it delays your first gateway. Which I don't think anything ever should. The first gateway timing is absolutely vital. It's gonna be 125 here on that core. So 1 second delay if everything goes perfect. Let's also have a small delay on the Nexus then. Was that going to be 136? 137. Okay. Very interesting. So if you compare it to a pylon scout, I think this is almost 1.5 second delay already on the Nexus. Maybe even 2. Yeah, actually 2. It's 2 seconds on the pylon scout already. If you compare it to a gateway scout, I guess we're getting closer to 3.5 to 4 seconds on that Nexus timing. These all sound like small things, and they are relatively small. But it's still going to be a probe that's going to be later. It's going to be like maybe 20, 25 minerals. 30 minerals maybe compared to a pylon scout. It's kind of a big deal. 25 minerals actually. That really is a big deal. And then there's some snowball effect as well. Okay, batteries being built in the main base as Zoun tries to move across the map. And Byun's going to kill 1 worker for free here. This is not a good start. This is really not a good start. Stargate's going to go down in the main. So that's not even going to make it across the map. So he builds a blind battery into the main base. Loses a probe and then doesn't even get to go across the map. This is 100% the worst case scenario. You don't get to delay anything, and yeah, once again it feels like all of the disadvantages, none of the benefits here for the Korean Protoss player. He's gonna be getting a Stargate out right now. Has a probe in this odd position, probably trying to get it back home, but the Reaper is being super annoying. Now this Reaper should die, I believe. It's gonna take 1 hit, gonna take a 2nd hit. Might be capable of getting the scout up on the Stargate. That's going to be it for Mr. Reaper though. Sees the Oracle start, so also knows the first unit. Of course this can be cancelled. So you're never entirely sure that is actually going to be the unit that you saw. But it doesn't matter because you're just going to open up with a Viking here. Viking Cyclone, and knowing Byun a little bit, this could just be a push from here. A little bit of a tiny push towards the 3rd base. We have a bunker going down, okay. Interesting call, not quite sure if I agree with that call. I wouldn't have minded a bunker earlier, don't get me wrong. But a bunker at this point, as your first Cyclone and Viking are on the way, I don't know. I don't see it. But maybe I'm wrong here. Probably I am wrong. Byun is a rather experienced Terran player. He's going to be sending his Viking over and will be capable... Oh my god. The mine got the Oracle kill. Are you joking? I didn't even know there was a mine on the map, neither did Zoun. He's going to put it into a different position. Yeah, this is interesting. This is really interesting. The follows Void Rays. What? Okay, I've seen a lot. This is new to me. Void Rays are new to me. So what's he gonna do with them is the question. It's gonna be a robotics facility as well. Void Rays are kind of like Phoenixes in a way, but better against drops and worse aggressively. Also better initially in the first defense, because they actually have a lot of damage output against both ground and air. They don't have the harassment ability of the Phoenix though. But they do have more damage. So in a straight up engagement, if you get to the army you want to get to, can be in a better spot. You're gonna need to see a couple of batteries being built here, as we have this little... I'm very keen on this setup with the tanks and then the delayed second barracks. I'm not quite sure what the exact purpose is of this, but it feels like there is... It looks like there is something there. You know, he seems to be getting into good positions, has relatively high supply as well. Now we have the factory actually swapping over so that the combat can start quickly, and we'll go into reactor from here. I don't think Byun is aware of the fact that there's Void Rays on the way and that there's Void Rays out already. Void Rays now get scanned. That's a good scan. I'm not sure if he's going to change anything. No, he's going to continue with the reactor, but at least he has some extra information right now. This build, by the way, out of Zoun gives him a lot of supply. And it's quite funny when people are super focused on supply, because usually what tends to be the case is that Terran is ahead by 20 supply in this phase of the game, or 15 supply. So they'll look at the supply here and think, wow, Zoun is light years ahead, or way better position than he usually is. But that's not necessarily true, because his infrastructure is so little that producing is going to be difficult. He has like 4 production structures at this point, while usually you would have maybe 9. 1 robotics facility and 8 gateways. So even though his supply is high, a lot of this is in units that aren't necessarily well upgraded. We see a lot of gateway units without any real value in damage output, and Void Rays that don't fight well into tanks either. I don't think this is the correct call. I actually don't believe you should finish this shit. I don't think you can fight into this right now. So we have a Viking push here. Pure Viking as a follow-up after 2 medevacs. I love this. We saw Cure do this before on this map as well. And Viking tank is extremely powerful against an opener like this, because none of these units are good at base trading. None of these units are good in straight up engagements either, so Zoun wants to fight this before the setup gets made, but the Colossi is just going to get targeted down. The Void Rays take out all of the tanks, that's nice, but there's not enough ground support. Zoun's just gonna get owned. Absolutely destroyed. 2 question marks as Byun laughs. Adios, my friend. GG gets called. Void Rays, not today, says Byun. So he takes game number 2 as well in this best of 5, and Byun on a little bit of a match point here. Let's hop into game number 3. Game number 3 here on 2K Atmospheres. We have a more Reaper Wallish approach here. Byun, by the way, opening up with Reaper both times so far, which is cool to see, because this is not a common thing. Reapers are not a certain factor anymore in this matchup. Byun bringing it back. Not even on necessarily very large map either. So it's interesting to see how he kind of perceives that little game between the Reapers and the Marines. Byun, of course, one of the most famous non-scouters in the world. The last time he scouted was in Wings of Liberty, and that was an accident as well. Back then he still played Protoss, I believe. Not many people know this about Byun, but Byun started as a TOS and switched into Terran. We know some examples, of course, of the other thing happening as well. Classic started as a Terran, switched into Protoss. Neep started as a Terran, switched as a Protoss. Neep, not many people know, was a pretty decent Terran as well. I remember him floating around rank 15, rank 16 Grandmaster in Europe. Already a very good American back in the day, but didn't quite have the results. And then once Legacy came out, I think 9 months before, he swapped into Protoss. Started putting up some results. I believe in one of the Heart of the Swarm seasons, he might have even beaten Huck in the WCS Premier NA, if I recall correctly. Here we have the Reaper coming out. The command center is also started. And once again, we have a Cybercore first coming out of the Protoss player. Question is going to be right now, what will the follow-up be? Are we going to see some Void Rays? I think we're going to be seeing a Stargate, that's for sure. Stargate is the sure factor. And then the real question is, what is the follow-up on that? Are we seeing Phoenixes, Oracles? Maybe we'll see an Oracle that doesn't fly into a mine. That would be a welcome change. Perhaps he will fly into another mine again. Of course. Whoa! Okay, okay. I see you, Byun. I see you. Byun just using this Reaper to scout around the map this time. Is he gonna get a factory here? No way, right? This would be a barracks. Yeah. Starts rallying down as well. So it's single gas usage. It's most likely gonna follow this up with a 3 racks quick eBay, or 2 racks into eBay is also a possibility. It does have a fair amount of gas already after all. This Reaper is taking a bit of a beating. If Zoun opens up with a Phoenix here, that would be the worst case scenario. He needs to open up with an Oracle. It is super important. Extremely important. Okay, great. Because that allows him to do a little bit of damage. Phoenixes don't really do that. And it also allows him to immediately transition into something else. Phoenixes, when they're in low numbers, are completely useless. If Zoun would have opened up with triple Phoenix here, he would have not been capable of achieving anything with them. His opponent would have way better eco, and he would struggle to defend the push that Byun most likely is going to get on the map. So the Oracle, huge, 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 huge. And I'm loving the double Oracle. After scouting the fact that there's a second CC, yes, go into extra Oracles, get that extra damage on, for sure. Force those quicker turrets. This is an extremely good call. Extremely good call. There's a lot of gas in the bank here for Byun. And I wouldn't have minded seeing the eBay being built before the third barracks. But I understand the third barracks a little bit quicker as well. SCV is going to go down. This is what you get for building a barracks with an SCV with a single HP. There's one more SCV here with 1 HP as well. Did he just shoot the command center? This guy has big plans, let me tell you that much. Ooh. Big plans of dying, lol. Oof. Not quite sure what that means. But they're discussing the intensity of these games. I can only imagine. So third CC is done right now for Byun. And with the double Oracle, triple Oracle into Robo. Oh, man. This is a build order. This is a build order. This is the greediest possible build order that there is. Because you usually can't play this, because any factory unit in a medevac will destroy this. Absolutely own it. On top of that, it will be difficult usually to defend the first push, because you don't have enough Colossi yet. And you're basically delaying your Robo Bay with those triple Oracles, the gas that those Oracles cost. But here it's completely fine. We have 3 Oracles joining up together right now. This actually has some potential. There is a push coming out of Byun though. So even though this is from a triple CC, and the third Rex is only now finishing, there's still a bit of a push. Now, usually if you open with a regular 3 Rex, this type of push hits at, what would we say, 455 with 18 to 19 Marines. Right now, Byun is hitting with, I believe, 20 Marines, and he's hitting a solid 40 seconds later. The question is, does Zoun have enough crap? There is a battery here that can turn into a super battery. There is a Guardian Shield available at this point. And Byun without Combat Shield, usually this is supposed to hit with Combat Shield, of course, if it's a regular 3-Rex, but without Combat Shield is a little bit more dangerous. Like these stasis wards being placed around. Byun casually typing while triggering single or using single Marines to target stasis wards. Curious to see if he sees this one as well. Oh yeah, that's a very clear one. Up, walks into it, even stimmed forward into it. Does the status of the stim wear off during the stasis wards? I'm not actually sure about that. I think so. We'll see what happens after he decides to move again. I'm keeping an eye on the minimap though, don't worry. If something big happens, I'll show you guys. Okay, yeah, so it does wear off the effect. Yeah, Locusts also die, like the timer continues moving on. Otherwise, triggering stasis wards with Locusts would be really good. You could have like 2 waves of Locusts hitting at the same time with a Swarm Host. Fly like 4 waves into stasis wards. Would be a huge buff to the Locusts. They're coming with like 95 Locusts at the same time and Toss dies. They also kind of form a body block often, these the Locust wave that gets stasis. It's quite annoying, to be honest. Double drop heading into the main base, and well, he's in position. And Zoun, that is. There's a bunch of Marines here on the right side as well. I like this build. I really do like this build. I think this is a good build that we don't really see played enough. On maps like Blackburn, this would be really good, where Oracle and Phoenix is, well, the standard, really. It's going to be Colossi into Templar Archives. This build-up for Zoun has also been good, don't get me wrong. Like, he's gotten himself definitely into a very good and playable position with solid tech, lots of gas in the bank, good vision on the map because of these oracles, or well, vision on the map, good vision on the army because of these oracles, and a quick Colossi count. The problem here is that he doesn't have any catch. So he went for charge before blink. I think that might have been a mistake, because it's not like his opponent is playing 10 tanks. You know, if your opponent opens up with 4 tanks, oh my good lord, that's bad. That's a lot of the assets he had. What I was going to say is that if your opponent has 4 or 5 tanks, I understand the straight charge. Because you might be getting attacked. But if there's only a single tank, charge is not a necessity. And blink might be better for the catch. It leaves your units a little bit more flexible. They can perhaps engage in a battle that is here on the low ground if they're on the high ground. 6-7 stalkers on the high ground will deal with anything up to 2 medevacs. Maybe even 3 medevacs if you're very quick at targeting stuff down. I am not, so I usually, the moment I realize there's 3 medevac potential, I put 9, 10 stalkers into the main base. That way I don't have to pay attention to them. Charge lots are gonna walk. I don't think you can go unspotted here, right? No, I don't think so. I think Byun saw these zealots though. He's kind of meticulous about these things. Doesn't want to leave zealots there in the corner. I mean, he has map control anyway. Might as well get the free pick off. Why not? Yeah, without the oracles, this becomes a harder game for 2 reasons. One, no vision on the army, and second of all, once these stasis run out, you don't have stasis anymore. One of the big underrated things of opening up triple oracle is the infinite amount of stasis wards you can put around the map. It helps so much. They basically are vision that could put off a trap that can potentially win you the game. Like, the stasis wards is such a powerful tool. It's really, really good, especially against Terran, where Terran doesn't have proper mobile detection like Zerg does. There's no overseers in the Terran army. You do have Ravens, but they don't work quite as well. Now, this is an interesting move forward here out of Byun. It's just going to straight up stim in. There's a couple of ghosts here. 3 tanks are moving into position. Disruptors trying to get their shots off. Well, they hit 1 tank. That's it. Super battery is gone as well. I think Zoun might be in a little bit of trouble as these tanks, well, they're gonna get cleaned up. At the same time, we have a massive drop into the main base. These forges, or this forge and this Twilight Council might just go down. There's no blink yet. This recall isn't big enough either. At the same time, the front is still getting charged by these marauders and ghosts. I think that Zoun might have just died accidentally. I don't even think Byun was really intending on killing his opponent. This was just a poke on 2 sides. He did this pre-2-2. Before Enhanced Shockwave was complete. Ship weapons on the way, 4th base is done, 5th should start soon as well. And this was more of a routine poke to which Byun to which Zoun just fell over and died. Nice. Love to see it when that happens. Alright, that's going to be it for today. Impressive series out of Byun, of course, as always. Been playing some good StarCraft lately. And Zoun definitely needs to work a little bit on that PvT again. Perhaps stop scouting immediately with the first probe. That's maybe just a symptom, but it's something that's preventable. I don't like it. But then again, if a lot of good players do it, probably is some big value in there. Alright, it's going to be it for me today. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we'll see you all next time for a new video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.